Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for some more of Super Rugby Pacific. This game, it's going to be a hard-hitting affair. It's going to be fast-paced. There's going to be excitement everywhere on the field. It's a Fijian Drua at home taking on the Hurricanes. Now, this game, it's been a lot of anticipation for. Anytime the Drua are playing, first of all, they do bring in quite a nice amount of crowd to the field. But then also alongside that, it's just that anticipation of a top 8 finish for the Fijian Drua this year, which I feel was something that was missing last year for them. That is why this game, I think, could be a very entertaining one indeed. Looking through at that Fijian Drua starting lineup, it will be Hiriti Hitit alongside Tavira Ikanaviri and Samu Tawake as the front row. Asoa Nasilasila and Joe Tamani will be slotting in as the locks. So that's a little bit different with Joe Tamani, one of the locks, rather than being in that loose forward trio. Miramira at number 6, Kitione Salawa at 7, and Ilya Whanakaivata at number 8. Now, he was originally off the bench in his first couple games, but then seems like now he is a little bit higher up that pecking order when it comes to selection in that loose forward trio. Frank Lamani at number 9 with Tite Tela at 10. Rakuro out on the left wing, Ravovo and Osefo Masi in the midfield. Masi has been phenomenal throughout this season, has been finding some real momentum and hopefully does continue throughout this game. Also, Ravatamata going to be out on the field. He is at number 14. And then Eliza Druasisi, the last man in the starting side for the Fijian Drua, will close out their starting lineup for the Hurricanes. It is Xavier Numia, Safa Moore, and also Tyrell Lomax as the front three. Justin Sangster and Isaiah Wakaliwiri going to be the locks. Devon Flanders, Duplessis Karefi, and Ardi Savia. A very strong loose forward trio for the Hurricanes in this contest. And you would expect plenty of physicality to be out there on the field throughout those three. Cam Roigard, he has had an absolutely terrific Super Rugby Pacific 2023 competition. He'll be hoping to continue that in this one. Aidan Morgan at 10. Kenny Naholo gets a start out on the left wing. That is rather than Salisi Rayasi, who is not in the starting side. Geordie Barrett and Billy Proctor linking up in the midfield. Julian Savia at 14, the bus. And then number 15, Josh Morby, the last man in the starting side. But they are in Suva for this matchup. ANZ Stadium, the crowd are well and truly in attendance, which you can expect no matter what. Whenever you're in Fiji, there is always that atmosphere. There is always that anticipation. Julian Savia, a lot of people anticipating him to have a good game because he's actually only scored one try throughout his 8 Super Rugby matches so far this year. A little bit low in the Buses standards. This is a game that he needs to make sure he does get it right. But currently the Fijian Drua, they have won 3, lost 6 in their Super Rugby Pacific season. They are currently ranked 11th, which does sound low when we talk about the top 8. But when we do a quick Google here for the overall table standings, they're 1 win away from getting themselves. They could actually finish this game in 7th place if they win it with a bonus point. At worst, if they win this game, they will find themselves in the top 8, above the Highlanders, who did lose their game yesterday up against the Chiefs. So there is still room for improvement for the Fijian Drua. It's just as we get a little bit closer to the end of the season, they need to get a few more wins under their belt. But they've got this game up against the Hurricanes. The next game that they have got, I believe they are going head-to-head with the Western Force. Yes, they are. So that is a must-win. The game after that, they will be playing the Waratahs, which is a bit of a 50-50 one. Could go either way. Then they've got Moana Pacifica. And then to close it out, they have got the Reds. So they are actually, other than this game, they are only playing Australian opposition with the exception of Moana Pacifica. Now, that is something that could heavily favour the Fijian Drua. But it looks like they are fired up, ready to go for this match. Like I mentioned, being played in Fiji. Julian Savia looking focused, the bus. Nick Naveri going to be leading the bulle here. There's a lot of determination on those Fijian faces. At the end of the day, results in their last few weeks have not quite gone the way that they would have liked. They are sitting 3 wins out of their 9 games, like I mentioned, but 1 win here would be the turning point for them. Looks like it's quite stormy in the background. Hopefully the rain does stay away throughout the 80 minutes of this contest. Asafa Moa looking unfazed at the moment, but he is another player who probably needs a big performance at some stage soon. Definitely if he wants a chance making it into that All Black side as we get closer and closer to the World Cup. Of course, some injuries will start to play factor. We can't just talk about, of course, the All Blacks for the World Cup. Fiji, they are going to be looking like maybe their strongest ever side in a World Cup. They will certainly be determined to get themselves the win over the likes of an Australia, maybe Wales, Georgia, and Portugal. They are the ones who have ended up in their group. Go the Kane says Crystal and there as well, and Najakat has said hello a little bit earlier on. So score prediction, Crystal, how high do you think the score will be in this contest? Last night we saw a game with about 80 points being scored. So I feel like this game may be no different. Maybe 60 points, we'll say, in this contest is my prediction between the two sides. The Hurricanes, they are doing their own haka as well. Fired up for this one. Sup, says Amelia, welcome in. You are doing very well. Xavier, geez, the intensity on his face as he gets ready to go for this match with the Fijian Drua. Long haka as well. I thought they were finished it, and then everyone just fired up for round two. I have to say, I think we always talk about the least intimidating haka participants. Geordie Barrett's a little bit up there. Just a little bit. Now we are ready to go for this matchup. They've set a special haka for the Hurricanes. Their club haka, the Fijian Drua, ready as they'll ever be for this matchup. This is an important one. Like I've said many, many times over, a win here, crucial, but not completely necessary for the whole season, but they're going to have to win a lot of games from here. 70 points, I reckon, says Crystal. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we see a try scored within the first, I want to say 5 minutes, but I might even go 3 minutes of this contest. I expect there to be a try. I think these sides are both going to start very quickly. Jordan Way in charge of this one in terms of the refereeing. Go like this and go like this. Make sure we are sitting at live TV. We're not a little bit behind. 3, 2, 1, and the game is almost underway. They were supposed to start then, but I think no one got the memo. Now the siren goes, and we are ready to go for this contest. Aidan Morgan will kick it off for the Hurricanes. Going from right to left. Nicely taken by Salawa inside of his own 22. Already busting through the tackle of the young number 4 for this contest. I always say that he looks like a little bit of a younger version of Kyle Mills for the Hurricanes. Like that as well. There we go. Now Frank Lamani puts it back into the pocket to Tite Tell. Already actually got the bandage on his head, so the warm-up must have been pretty tough for him. Nice ball on the outside from the Fijian Drua. Now to Kuro. Kicks it in behind. Looks like he's not quite going to be able to chase that one down, though. The Hurricanes take it just outside of their own 22. Now Kini Naholo. Big crashing run, but already this game has started at a very fast tempo. Now Roygaard goes across to Duplessis Karefi, dropping the ball off to Josh Morby. Quick hands from Lomax. And it's a juggle there from the number 6, Braden Aosi. They'll go back for the original knock on. And that's a quick first minute of this contest. And we'll see an upset in any, or will we see an upset in any of the games, says Novmum. The most likely upset we will see, I honestly think, is the Reds Waratahs. I'm not sure who comes in as the underdog, but they've probably got the best chance of winning. And maybe Rebels Brumbies might be a bit tough for the Rebels, but yeah, Blues Moana Pacifica, no offense to the Moana Pacifican side. I think the Blues should have that one secured. The Chiefs, Crusaders Western Force could be quite close due to how we saw the Force play last year up against them, but I still feel the Satyrs should be able to get the job done. And Canes 42, the Draw 28. That would be a very entertaining game. I hope that is how we start our Super Rugby Saturday. Nice step there from Asefa Masi. Scrum was won by the Fijian Drua. Now it's Nasila Sila. Going forward nicely. Lamani milks the penalty, but he might as well. If Isaiah Wakaliawiri is going to stand on their side of the breakdown, decides he might as well throw it into him, get some early points on the board. So the Fijian Drua may be taking on the 3 points, something that we haven't really seen them do throughout this Super Rugby Pacific season. Right, what are they deciding? They are going to be going for the post, the Fijian Drua, just to get those early points on the board. Now, I mentioned I thought there would be a try in the first 3 minutes. I don't think I would have predicted a Fijian Drua penalty kick in the first 3 minutes, that they were actually kicking for goal. I see there, Zaya Wakaliawiri did end up kicking that one. He just passes it straight into Zaya Wakaliawiri. You're standing on the wrong side of the breakdown. But do let me know, ladies and gentlemen, out of this game can be included as well. But what is the game of Super Rugby this weekend that you are most excited for Saturday? We have got this game. We've got Crusaders versus Western Force, Blues versus Moana Pacifica, and then Reds versus Waratahs. Which game? And maybe actually, you know what? We'll make it more difficult. We won't include this game because I think this was the game everyone was looking forward to on the Saturday. Which game out of those other three is the one you're looking forward to the most? The kick is unsuccessful from Frank Lamani, so the Fijian Drua still remain at the nil on the board. They'll be quite disappointed with that because they'll be thinking now in their head, could they have just tap and run? Could they have gone for the corner? Julian Savia, it looks like he's already breathing a little bit heavy. I haven't seen him yet in this match. Now kicked down long from the 22 from Aidan Morgan. Now Thanakai Vata tries to run it at the line. Lomax smashes him backwards. Nice work from Drua Sisi. Thought about the ball on the outside meta, but it is now loose from the Fijian Drua. That is one thing we are for sure to see, and that is a quick tempo being played by the Fijian Drua here. They will not be messing around with too many rucks in a row without getting it out that back line. Something that a lot of people very much enjoyed watching for the Fijian Drua this year. Now, nice ball. Drua Sisi ball on the outside of Ravatamanda, who now finds himself a little bit of space down the right-hand wing. 4 a.m. in South Africa, says Deborah. So a very early morning start for yourself there. But we will be doing the South African games a little bit later on in the day. The Bulls versus the Stormers, Leinster versus the Sharks, and then also the third URC game of the weekend, and that will be Glasgow versus Munster. Now off to the right-hand side now, Silla. Lamani. Most of the possession so far in this contest has gone the way of the Fijian Drua. That is something that they will be very happy about, although not being able to turn it into points will be something that annoys them a bit. Ravatamanda gets driven into touch by Kini Naholo and Geordie Barrett. And the Hurricanes will have themselves the line out just outside of their 22. But I feel like that was the fastest 5 minutes of rugby I've ever witnessed. Like, I have no idea how we're up to 5 minutes through at this stage. Yeah, very quick. I feel like it felt like 2 or 3 minutes max. Ravatamanda did have a good run forward, but it was Roygaard who actually managed to make that tackle, which is very impressive. That man just seems to be everywhere on the field at the moment for the Hurricanes, including at the back of this rolling maul. Partially charged, though. The Fijian Drua managed to get that ball back, and they are now once again in an attacking position. But unfortunately for them, the ball has been knocked on from Kitione Salawa, and they'll go back for... In fact, I think they're going back for the original scrum in favour of the Fijian Drua. And would like to see how Will Jordan goes. Yeah, he's a player who's been out for a long time. Will Jordan, I hope he kind of... Well, it's a tricky one. I hope that he plays well, but then I only hope that he plays extremely well if he is completely ready to come back, if that makes sense. Like, I don't want him to feel pressured once he has a good game. Like, now he has to be in the All Blacks, even if he's not 100%. Like, I'd like to think that they've waited long enough, though, that he is back to 100% before letting him play. But, yeah, I don't want him to feel that pressure of, oh, you've had one good game, now you're back to being the All Blacks starting 15, like a lot of people are hoping for. Lamani puts the ball in. Now going off to the right-hand side there. Oh, no, Lamani has had a bit of a slip there trying to go for the grubber. I think it is going to be play on, though. And Frank Lamani chasing after this one. It is forced by Geordie Barrett. It will be a goal line dropout now. Hurricanes under a lot of pressure here early. I think Geordie Barrett just asking about that kick from Lamani, whether or not it was a kick or whether he just fell over the ball and it counts as a knock on. Aidan Morgan now, though. We're all onside, says Jordan Way. Morgan now boots it down the middle of the field. Nicely taken here by Drua. CC running it back, 35 out from the Hurricanes line, trying to find a gap, and it is a missed tackle from Braden AOC. In fact, it was Isaiah Wakaliwiri. Oh, stolen by the bus, Julian Savia. Great anticipation and kick downfield from Billy Proctor. Now the Fijian Drua retreating. Gets the ball back just inside of their 22, Sefa Masi, although it was taken back, which means that he is unable to kick this one out on the full, even though I don't think that's something that the Fijian Drua would want to do anyway. Good tackle made by Justin Sangster just outside of the Fijian Drua 22. The counter ruck as well from him. Now going off to the left. Silla. Another run here. This tempo, both sides, as fit as they are, I don't feel they'll be able to keep this up for the full 80 minutes. This game has been extremely fast-paced. Now Aidan Morgan tries to run it back. Oh, it's dropped by Julian Savia. He was looking where he wanted to pass rather than looking at where the ball was going to be heading to him. Disappointed with that, Savia, because he just had a very good play where he was able to get the interception. And come on, the Canes, says Robert there. Yeah, for the Hurricanes on the overall Super Rugby table, they currently do find themselves sitting in third. With a win here, that would leapfrog the Brumbies, put them into second, sitting on either 35 or 36 points. But the impressive thing is, for the Chiefs, they would still be 10 points ahead in that case, or 9 points ahead, which just shows how great of a season starter the Chiefs have had. Whether or not they can keep that up for the full season, though, still yet to be seen. Turn to HFC Bank Stadium. The Drua last played at this venue up against the Rebels. Now Lamani, the ball in. Fijian Drua 40 metres out from their own try line currently. Oh, he knocked it on at the back of the scrum. There seems to be a little bit of that, and that seems to happen when they play it in Fiji. Just that little bit of heat gets the sweatiness on the ball. Be slippery. Also, the nerves of playing in front of a massive home crowd, 30-degree heat, doesn't make it too easy for these players. Just looking at this one from, he just got caught on the side of Mera, unfortunately, which also doesn't help when you are trying to pick that ball up and go quickly. Just need to make sure that they're not rushing things here, the Fijian Drua. That is something that we actually saw in their game last week. They just seemed to be in such a hurry to get everything done rather than just playing those couple phases, which then created the opportunity. Roy Gar puts the ball in now for the Hurricanes, going off to the left-hand side. Big run from Julian Savia. Now, Artie Savia with the ball in hand goes to Proctor. Kenny Naholo this time has dropped the ball, and he is disappointed. Now, the Drua have got the option of either taking this one That was not good. I don't know why that cut out. My internet has been very dodgy at the moment for this live stream. So I think before the next 5 live streams that we've got on, I will have to reset the modem and hope that that makes it a little bit smoother. So yeah, it may glitch a little bit throughout the stream, which is slightly unfortunate. Now 11 minutes through. We've seen a drop ball from Kenny Naholo. We've seen a drop ball from Julian Savia. Drop ball from Frank Lamani. The list goes on in this contest. I'm actually mentioning that Kenny Naholo is related to Kalaveti Ravovo, the Fijian Drua number 12. So that is something that I did not know. Also, of course, the brother of Waisaki. Our ball fed in. Hurricanes have gone down on the front row there. That should be a penalty to the Fijian Drua, and it is. Adi Savia disappointed with it. I'm not sure why he's so disappointed with it. I don't think he saw it from the angle that we saw. The reason the Hurricanes were going forward was because their front row went down. So the Fijian Drua had nothing to push against. But now, it's going to be the Fijian Drua kicking this one for the touchline. 2 penalties conceded against the Hurricanes so far. Good kick. Downfield, about 45 metres out now from the Fijian Drua line. Bulla Hamish, is it raining there in Fiji? Not at this stage. It looks like it's close, but saw a few dark-looking clouds in the background before the game, so it may rain at some stage. A little bit of confusion The Hurricanes there. Now, Ikanaveri tries to throw the ball, and it wasn't the straightest line out, but it is going to be a knock on this time against Justin Sangster. The advantage in favour of the Drua. Looks like Isaiah Wakaliawere may have picked up a little bit of an injury as well. Now Salawa cycles quickly, gets it out wide here for Rakuro. He's looking for some space. He is quick. One of the smaller players out there on the field, but certainly is willing to muscle up with the big boys as he is showing by getting tackled by Tyrell Lomax and Artie Savia. Lamani going across there. Nice ball from Samu Tawake Ikanaveri running down the wing. 22 metres out now from the line, the Fijian Drua. Nice short ball to Silla. Only makes a metre or so. Now today Teller goes across here again. Nice ball in behind. Big shot put in on Sefomasi. Good ball retention though from the Fijian Drua and the breakdowns. Now loose ball. Ravatamanda does manage to pick it up. They say that it went backwards. Lamani after Tite Teller. Now Mira straightens 15 metres out from the line. Artie Savia with the turnover though. Only a few metres out from his own line. A crucial one for the Hurricanes on their defence. Now Roygard back across here to Geordie Barrett, who will just boot this as far as he can down the field, but it's out on the full. So they will go back to where he kicked it from. That is actually the first touch we have seen from Geordie Barrett throughout this contest. Shows how little ball the Hurricanes have had at this point in the contest as well. A must-see for the first Drua try, says Mr. Billy. He's got a really good chance. He scored already about 6 or 7, I believe it is, throughout the Super Rugby Pacific season. If he got himself a hat-trick here, he'd be right up the top with Sean Stevenson, who's currently sitting on 10 tries scored throughout this competition. Ikanaveri, though, with the line-out throw. Onto the back and nicely taken by the Drua. A little bit overthrown, but it is slapped back onto their side, and now there's an advantage in favour of the Fijian Drua again. Now Frank Lamani goes off to Silla. Rolling nicely, I believe. That is almost going to be an advantage as well. No, not quite. But they are still playing under one. Fijian Drua 15 metres out from the Hurricanes line. Today, Della with the kick in behind. Was he foot tripped? Someone there looked like they went down. They will go back for the original penalty in favour of the Fijian Drua. They are just all intensity at the moment in the early stages of this match. It looks like it's actually going to be a final warning here for the Hurricanes for their discipline. Artie Savia, he'll be disappointed. The fact that his side are yet to actually win themselves a penalty throughout the first 15 minutes. That was for a dangerous tackle. What do they decide? I think they're actually gonna go for the one in the midfield. 5 metres out. Are they tapping and going? Is that what they've decided? It does seem that way. Kanaveri and his Fijian Drua boys, they will be keen. Get the first try in this contest. You can hear the crowd already electric, even though this game has been scoreless for the first 16 minutes. Okay, Jordan Weiss says no more huddling, boys. We need to get on with this contest. Of course, with a schedule of 4 games this week, you have to make sure that they're getting through them relatively quickly. Now, Silla takes it quickly, goes off to the left-hand side. Ikanaveri only 1 metre short of the line. Now around the side, Hiriti hit it just short. Now, Fiji and Drua, they can dig this one out of this breakdown, I think. Oh, okay, that ball was going to be unplayable, so it's actually going to become a 5 metre scrum in favour of the Fijian Drua. I see. I just realised that I forgot to put on socks. I was in that much excitement and a hurry for this match. I still have bare feet on. My socks are down next to me. This game knocked me socks off, perhaps. As we get further towards the end of it, I might grab those now, ladies and gentlemen, just while we've got a quick stoppage. They are only just down there. Sorted. Socks. Got to be good for you. Not quite bare feet weather here at the moment, unfortunately, although it's quite muggy. Now Frank Lamani, white cutout ball for the Fijian Drua. I can safely say if the Fijian Drua score now, this is the first try that's ever been scored while I've been putting socks on. And it is. It's going to be the try for the Fijian Drua. Rasuko. Oh, sorry, not Rasuko. It is Rakuro who managed to score it. There we go. It's a try for the Fijian Drua, the home side strike in Suva. Daniela Rakuro, that is his third of the season, his first of the day, possibly not the last as well. Great step going in from him. And then just drove. And you wouldn't expect that from one of the smaller players on the field. But like I mentioned, he enjoys muscling up with the bigger men who are out there on the park. And I like, Kiwi lads, how's the Drua doing? They're doing all right. They've had about 90% of the possession at this stage of the match, which is brilliant for them now that they have converted it into points. But they need to make sure that they don't take that foot off the gas, even though I'm sure they've got a few players who are already starting to get a little bit tired out there. They need to keep that intensity up, or else then the Hurricanes might be similar to what we saw in the match between the Highlanders and the Chiefs last night. The Highlanders started very well, but then they lost that intensity, and the Chiefs then scored time after time after time. So, yeah, keep the intensity, Fijian Drua, and we'll see how many points they can get. And also, it must have been your Red Sox, Hemi, says Spider Mick there. And also, yes, the motorbike scores, and 0-0. Says Spider Meat. Nah, not quite red ones. We got the black ones on today. I don't think I'm flexible. There you go. There's my foot. That was about as high as I could get it without my groin popping twice. I actually heard it pop once in that process. Vanaka Drua. There's Kalara. Yeah, good start to this match from the Fijian Drua. They need to keep it up. They want a good chance of beating the Canes. Like I mentioned, if they win this game, they actually go into the top 8. Currently sitting in 11th. It just shows how close it is down that bottom side of the draw. Anyone can make it through to the quarterfinals. Now waiting for this ball to roll back. It is Frank Lamani. It's high now for the Drua, just inside of the Hurricanes. Big shot coming in on Josh Morby by Ravatamanda, and they win the penalty as well. Players sealing it off. I believe that was Aidan Morgan who has been penalised. Imagine if the Force beat the Crusaders. I can't see that happening. There's no moment. It would be a massive win for the Force, and that's, I guess, another scenario in terms of that bottom 6 or so sides all fighting for those 2 spots. 4 penalties so far against the Hurricanes, none against the Drua. But yeah, where would that put the Western Force? They are currently in 10th. So them beating the Crusaders would keep them just above the Fijian Drua if the Fijian Drua were able to win this game. So yeah, it's getting closer and closer. There is a fairly big gap though between Fijian Drua and Moana Pacifica, 11 and 12. Moana Pacifica just sitting on the 2 points so far for the season. Take your socks off and put it back on again so Drua can get another try, Hammy. There's Spider Mick. The magic of it may have worn off. I'm a one-sock wonder. Now, Lamani, hasn't got that kick right. That is 2 times now that he's tried for the 3 and 2 times now that he has missed the attempt for 3. Not happy at all, Frank Lamani there. Some of those boys off the bench might be going, why aren't we kicking that one for the corner and having another crack against this Hurricanes side? We've had all of the possession, but now the Hurricanes have got themselves their first position in a long time. Who's Moana playing? They are going to be taking on the Blues. That is the 7:05 p.m. kickoff today. We will be covering that one on the channel as well. Our Cam Roygaard puts the ball high here, drifting towards the touchline. Ruasesi takes it nicely. Now, Kanina Holo makes the tackle there. Crowd saying that it might have been a little bit high. Another advantage for the Fijian Drua. The crowd were correct, and we're going back for another penalty. High tackle. That is now 5 on the trot against the Hurricanes. Wakaliawere penalised again here. It seems to be currently there's 3 players for the Hurricanes who aren't going that flash. Isaiah Wakaliawere is one. Another is probably, you'd have to say actually the 2 wingers, Kanina Holo, Julian Savia, to a certain extent, just with that handling earlier on. Brandon Iosi, another player who hasn't quite found his feet in this contest as of yet. Yeah, just ended up catching him around the chin. Kanina Holo quite had the flashiest start. But now we're actually at the drinks break. Now, due to the fact that they are playing in Fiji and there are very warm conditions at the moment, it means that every 20 minutes or so, we do have a player drinks break. So that is going to be at 20 minutes and 60 minutes. So if I was seeing 40 carries from the Drua compared to the 7 of the Hurricanes, but the 7 times that they have carried the Hurricanes, they have beaten 4 defenders. So that is actually pretty impressive. The Drua have only had to make 8 tackles. They have missed half of them. Tackles made so far from the Hurricanes, 56 throughout the first 22 minutes. Must be human and the ball slippery, says Mr. Billy. Yeah, it is quite hard to hang on to the ball by the looks of it. Possession 79% for the Drua, which is why I'm so surprised they decided to take on that 3 points again rather than giving themselves that chance for the corner and score as many points as you can now so that you don't have to keep that same speed for the full 80 minutes. Packed in though. The crowd for this contest. Should mention the next game that we are covering will be Crusaders versus Western Force. That is at 4:35 p.m. New Zealand time. And that game we are going to be accompanied by George. Be sure, keep an eye on that one. You never know what you're going to get in a George live stream. The best way of describing it. But Tite Talon now, looks like he will be picking this one for the touchline. Now, they are actually talking about the fact that the Fijian Drua women's side, they are actually going to be taking place in a final just in a couple hours' time. The FIJIAN Drua, big game up against the Reds. They beat the Tars, though, who were actually heavy favourites to win the competition. So the Drua, a very big good luck to them. Now Ravatamanda, now spinning out of one challenge. Justin Sangster drags him down, now 40 metres out from the line. Hereti Hitit breaks through the big prop. And it's always nice to see a prop on a runaway. Artie Savia gets over the ball, gets the turnover, though, for the Hurricanes. That is twice now that he has saved them from a possible try. Now Cam Roygard, 15 metres out from their own line. Should take a break every quarter. There's Spider-Mick. Oh, loose ball from Geordie Barry. Has to kick it, or pass it, across to Josh Morby, who now has to boot it downfield. And that's actually a very decent kick for the amount of pressure that was on him. Drasesi now stepping off to the side. Good low tackle made by Morby, who has to get back into the line. Ready to defend. That looked a bit high from Cam Roygard as well. Now the Drua 40 metres out from the line. Billy Proctor almost gave away a penalty for not rolling away there. Amena Mitta taken down. Duplessis Karefi hands. No, Savia this time gets it wrong, and then Lamani milks the penalty by passing it straight into him. Takes the quick tap. Not quite back to 10. So Artie Savia unable to make that tackle. This is better from the Fijian Drua, although that is a loose ball on the ground, unfortunately for them. They're saying, though, that the Hurricanes were able to take that ball out, which does now mean that the Drua will continue with their attack. They're trying to take one of their walking wounded players off the field now. Looks like some sort of maybe rib injury. Now Lamani, short ball, goes into the hands of Tamani. I don't know whether or not he was the man who they were actually trying to get it to in that scenario. Now around the side of the breakdown, Mitta only gains a metre, but the penalty goes the way of the Hurricanes this time. Their first of the match. That was some quick, intense rugby. You can see hands on hips from pretty much every single forward who's on the field. They are not used to playing at this tempo. Only 16 minutes remaining. Still going to be a very hard graft for both of these sides to get to halftime. We did see the injury of the Fijian Drua player just a bit ago. We didn't actually get to see who it was who got injured. They may end up telling us somewhere along the lines, though. Yeah, Sefa Masi. Good run forward from him. And in the end, just a little bit of a mistake in the breakdown. Now Asafa Moa taking that one nicely for the Hurricanes. Will now start to get that rolling more going forward. Now Asafa Moa. One available at the bag now, 40 metres out from the line. Change of bind here, they've said, so he does have to get out of it. Ikanaveri currently going sideways. It's slightly being dragged that way by Mitta. Our box kick from Roygard. just goes out on the full. Well, that sounds it, but they will be going back for another advantage, this time in favour of the Hurricanes already. Penalties are starting to even themselves out. So it was Kitione Salawa, the man who got injured, and that is for Neri Dirialangi, who's coming off the bench for him. Another obstruction. Hurricanes, they could go for the 3 here. It's within Geordie Barrett's range, but I believe they will be kicking for the corner. Try and keep the speed up of this game. That's the thing. Both sides are going to be well and truly tested for their fitness here. It's great to see, but now about 20 meters or maybe about 17 out from the line, the Hurricanes are going to have themselves the line out. Do you watch KO? Says NRL Super King. I do not. I have a KO account that I have access to, but because I'm in New Zealand, normally I watch it on Sky Sport Now. Who's the ref? It is Jordan Way for this contest. So yeah, the Fijian Drua, they have been penalised twice, I believe, at this stage. The Hurricanes penalised 6 times. So we've got another drinks break for the players. It's only 5 minutes after the last one, so it just shows you how hard these two sides are working, but we've also got a bit of an injury stoppage for Devon Flanders. Was he actually injured, though? He's running back as if nothing happened, so I think he might have just been told, hey, stay down for a bit so we can get some beverages in before we are ready to go for this line out. It says Star Wars, I believe. I think International Star Wars Day was yesterday, so a lot of people still, well, actually 2 days ago, May the 4th. A ball being thrown in by Asafa Moore. Gets it to Isaiah Wakaliwiri. Now they have been told to use it once. It is swirling around here. Quite hard for the Hurricanes to get this ball out, but Asafa Moore has managed to break away the bulldozer for the Hurricanes. Now 15 out from the line. Roygaard goes off to the right-hand side. Sangster, he's just been crushed. That's going to be really hard on his back. I wouldn't be surprised if he stays down for just a little bit. Now Roygaard playing the games that Lamani was, which is passing it into a player who is in an offside position. I think Artie Savia, Jordan Way pretty much just told him, look, you're giving me a lot of advice. How about shushing for a bit? Now, Ikanaviri, he has been penalised for offside. Hurricanes now have the option to kick for the corner again, which they certainly will. 27 minutes through this matchup. Plenty of time left in this half for both of the teams. And come on, the Drua, hold the fort. There's Spider Meek. Ikanaviri just in an offside position. Now breakdown. Suffer more. Get him ready to throw this one. That's very wonky. Way on the outside of the Hurricanes. Number 5 is Wakaliwiri. That is the last thing that they wanted in that scenario. Now, FIJIAN Drua, they dodge a bit of a bullet. They will be only about 10 meters out from their line, but they have now got themselves the scrum feed. There we go. I almost sneezed, so I decided I might as well sneeze to the side. Which is also why I think I'm muted. Maybe? Did I mute? I might not have muted. I might have just moved off to the side. So sorry if you heard my sneeze. Now 28 minutes and a half gone. Free kick for the Hurricanes. Drua not quite getting that one right. I think it was a pre-engagement there. Right. They are going to be going for the scrum again. The first 20 minutes of this game absolutely flew by, but ever since the drinks break, it's been a little bit slower between them. The tempo has slowed down, both sides absolutely feeling the exhaustion of the pace that has been kept. But the Hurricanes in the red zone so far, they have been able to get themselves 5 tries. 42%, third in the competition for the amount of tries that they have been able to get throughout Super Rugby Pacific 2022. Slow game this one. Yeah, it started very quick, didn't it? But I guess slow on the scoreboard, quick in terms of the action. Now Geordie Barrett goes back to Morgan. Kenny Naholo dragged down 5 meters out from the Drua line. This is where the Drua's defense will be tested. We saw earlier on a stat that said they had 8 tackles made, only 4 missed. And Julian Savia, the bus, scores the try, is second out of 9 games that he's played in. He has been pretty low in the clinicalness of his season, but he has now scored 59 tries in his career here. And the Hurricanes managed to fire back. I'm behind Israel Folau now for the overall tries scored in Super Rugby. He has now surpassed Doug Howlett, though. They did mention, but Julian Savia, it was quite a late shot coming in on him after putting that ball down, but the Drua player, a lot of momentum flying across. But a bit of a cheap shot, you'd have to say, from Rukuro there, but Julian Savia does manage to score the first try of the match for the Hurricanes now. 7 points to 5. A tough kick to come for Jordie Barrett. This will be his first kicking attempt of the day. Like they've just said, it's actually Julian Savia's first try since week 1. We're now up to round 11 of the competition. Jordie Barrett, a lot of noise coming from the crowd. He's missed it away to the left-hand side, so that will keep the score at 7 points to 5, still in favour of the home side, the Drua. Just managing to get that pass right on the outside to Savia. And like they mentioned, it was from the mistake in the scrum. FIJIAN Drua just a little bit of pre-engagement and led to them getting in trouble. Oh, sorry, he's got one more to get to Doug Howlett, currently tied with TJ Perenara. Speaking of TJ Perenara, where is he? He is injured, I believe, at the moment, TJ. I think he's going to be out for a majority of the season. That's gone straight through Kenny Naholo, but the penalty goes the way of the FIJIAN Drua for accidental offside. Hey, Hamish, how's it going, my friend? Says Jeffrey, doing very well, mate. A lot of rugby on today. So I'm very excited for it. We got this game. We got the Crusaders versus the Force. We will have George with us. Moana Pacifica versus the Blues, which I think we might also have a George joining. And then we're doing 3 games of the URC back to back to back throughout the evening, starting at 1:30 a.m. How far has the bus got to be? Izzy needs another 3 tries to be 1 ahead. Accidental offside there for the way that Xavier Numia picked it up after Kenny Naholo had fumbled. Now Ikanaveri 15 metres out. Drawing now with the line out. It's nicely taken by Salawa. Only just though. Now Rivatamanda bumps out of Tyrell Lomax. Gets hit even harder by Xavier Numia. Playing pinball with the props at the moment, the FIJIAN Drua. Now Lamani, short ball. That is a very rough one. It has drifted forward, but they will go back for the original. Is this a penalty that they're going back for? It's going to be a yellow card. Who's that for? Number 5, Isaiah Wakaliawiri. If he felt like his game couldn't go from bad to worse, it just did. Isaiah Wakaliawiri. The field now 14 minutes. I don't think he realizes he's off. Don't know if he's made his way off. Yeah, and Sevens today, not today, next week when it is going to be taking place. So that will be the Toulouse Sevens followed by is it London Sevens the last leg? But yeah, we will be covering the Sevens next week. Melbourne Storm doing pretty good so far. Says Buttermilk, and including the Magic round of the league. Yeah, there is plenty of action coming up. Warriors playing today up against, I believe they've got the Panthers, don't they? They play the Panthers last week. Yeah, Warriors Panthers, that is at 5 p.m. That game will be taking place. Hopefully they go all right. They've been on a little bit of a bad streak at the moment, the Warriors, starting to go back to the old seasons. There's going to be a penalty going the way of the Hurricanes for a bit of obstruction at the line. And in fact, I think it was jumping across. And now, penalty goes the way of the Hurricanes. And that is something that has kind of changed this game a bit more. The fact that we're seeing more penalties being awarded in favour of both sides, which has slowed down the momentum as the match was going on. And Stormers Bunnies today, says Hanoi. I'm still disappointed we've only covered preseason of the NRL so far. Like, I feel like once we find a rhythm of which games we are going to be doing, we are going to be doing quite a few NRL games. Is this game in New Zealand, Hamish? It is not. It is in Fiji. Taking place from Suva Stadium, or ANZ Stadium as it is also known. Our ball thrown in nicely. Taken by Artie Savia. Now the line out turns into a rolling maul for the Hurricanes. They are playing with one less man out on the field, currently playing with 14 with the yellow card of Isaiah Wakaliawere. Ball available at the back now for Roigard. Looks like he will be putting up the box kick on his left boot, the favoured left. For him, Ravatamanda goes up. Might have been a bit of obstruction there on Kitty Nahola, but Ravatamanda does brilliantly. Now moved to 45 metres out from the Hurricanes line. Tete Tela, a player we've hardly seen today, knock on there in the midfield from Drua Sesi. Unfortunately, just a little bit too low from Tuiawu to pick up nicely. And Suva says Spider Mech in there as well. Now only 5 minutes remaining. Are you going to do the Reds versus Waratahs game tonight, says Jeffrey? I believe we are going to be missing that game, only because at some stage I will have to make sure that hopefully the voice is working, but also I'm probably going to end up cooking food during that time, which I feel like I could possibly squeeze in between the Reds Waratahs finish and the start of the next game, but I might also end up getting like an hour or two sleep squeezed in there as well, just so that I don't fall asleep during the last live stream, which will be finishing at 8:45 a.m. We've got a long haul ahead of us. It's actually going to be the most live streams we've done in a single day, other than the 7, since maybe about, I would say probably since maybe the internationals for rugby. Might be the last time we've had so many games that weren't 7s. Of course, 7s normally take you through the night and you're back to back to back to back. But yeah, it's been a good few months, I think, since we've had this many games on the cards. Maybe from the Six Nations, in fact, when we had a Six Nations Super Round in about February. Now 36 minutes through, still another 7 remaining of the Hurricanes yellow card. Just talking through the forward pack that the Fijian Drua have got. They've got some big boys in there, that is for sure. We see Pitu Munga Jensen running the drinks today. Scrum feed though. Like Novma mentioned, game slowed down. They've decided to take it at more of a methodical pace rather than an out and out just steaming forward. Jordan Way calls crouch, bind, and set. And yellow for who? It was Isaiah Wakaliawere, Hurricanes number 5. Setting up with the yellow card about 3 minutes ago. Oh, Josh Morby hit hard in the tackle there from Sefa Masi. Now Roigard considered sniping around the side. Goes off to Xavier Numia. Trying to still bulldoze his way forward. Gets an extra 5 or so post-contact meters, which keeps the momentum in favour of the Canes. Now Lomax moves up to 22 meters out. Roigard back across to Numia. Now Morgan. Mr. Kini Nahola hasn't had the best day when it comes to the handling or the penalties against him. And just to do all right, hitting it up there. Tomorrow morning at 10:57 a.m. from Churchill Park, or Churchill Downs in Kentucky Derby. I like number 14 each way. It's worth a watch. There's Jeffrey there. So 10:57 from Churchill Downs in Kentucky. Okay. Kentucky Derby. See, I really struggle in terms of who to know which horse is going to do well. Unless, no, that's actually not a horse, is it? That's actually the racing, isn't it? Or is it the horse? And Hurricanes trying coming. There's Mr. Lerm. Making that little mistake now means that the Fijian Drua do end up with the ball. Lamani. We see the meters made. The difference between them, 246 meters made by the Drua, 66 meters made by the Hurricanes, yet they are almost on the same amount of points. That is down to those Hurricanes defenders doing exactly what they need to. But nice snipe from Frag Lamani. Dodging tackles, goes off to Ravatamata. Geordie Barrett has to get back inside ball from Lamani. Almost dragged down short of the line. They might have to check this one. Roigard with the last-ditch effort. I don't quite know if it was enough. Horse racing over in America gallops. Is that a trot or a gallop? Spider Mech down. The TMO says Novman Frank Lamani. He looks disappointed. I feel like, yep. I think it's going to be no try. It is a knock on from Frank Lamani. They don't have to go upstairs. Won't be sad if the Drua win. Stairs of mum. Okay, Jordan Way straight away has decided that it was a knock on. Roy Gubb, brilliant work from him. They were just mentioning how he was one of the most improved youngsters in the competition. He's certainly proven why there. Only a minute remaining in this first half. The Drua a little bit disappointed to not have turned that into points. Now Morgan, the 22 dropout, or in fact the goal line dropout, sorry, taken by Deri Alangi, who's now winding up to charge at the line. Hard in the tackle by Xavier Numia and Flanders. Now Tete Teller goes off to the left, Dick in a very quick hands. Drua sees a good attack and run. It's well stolen again by the bus, Julian Savia. That is 2 times now in the match that he's had the interception. And come on, the Drua, says DK. Now Roy Guard. On across to Ardi Savia. 4 minutes remaining of that yellow card. So it will continue into the second half for the Hurricanes, with them playing with 14. Now big fin from Billy Proctor, offload to Aidan Morgan. Ball on the outside to Julian Savia. Once again, Roy Guard looks like he is setting it up just to have a man or two available there. I'm going to sneeze again. There we go. We're better. Now Ravatamanda knock on there. Ball goes free. Kanina tries to grab her at forward, but he just got a bit too much of a kick on it. And also we have got the no TMO in Fiji. Unfortunate indeed. Lack of facilities for the TMO, says DK. Although in that case, it was the right decision with the knock on coming from Lamani. But yeah, hopefully it doesn't cost anyone later on in the contest. That will be half time though between these two sides. 7 points to 5. A lot more low scoring than we anticipated. At the start of the match, we were trying to predict whether it would be 60 points scored or 70, 12. I mean, here we are sitting on at the moment. Come on, the Wellington Lions. There's Mr. Lerm there. Now half time. 7 points to 5. Low scoring, but still a very entertaining first half from these two teams. Oh, we will go like this and like this. There we go. So anyone who doesn't know, we are doing the game between the Crusaders and the Force, which is happening just around the corner. And we will have George joining us for that live stream. We have got Go the Hurricanes Go, says Tavuki, and also Go the Drua Go, says Vasinai. And well, it's a bit strange that the game's behind. It's half time. Yeah, that's something that probably would have been quite heavy underdog or quite heavy in terms of the TAB odds. All right, I'm currently very quickly going to check. The Fijian Drua, $2.90 underdogs. Even though they are winning this contest, they still come in as underdogs heading into that second half. Just looking through at the information that they've got, all of the Fijian Drua players to score a try are a lot lower in the monetary value than the Hurricanes, which is quite interesting because I feel like some of these Fijian players got a very good chance of scoring. Why the water breaks? There's no tea breaks in Oz or New Zealand, especially during the winter, says DK. And yeah, it seems to be something that World Rugby have brought in recently in terms of certain locations. South Africa's the same. They have to have a drinks break at about 20 minutes, which we will see between the Stormers and the Bulls taking place later on tonight. We will be covering that one on the channel as well. Go the Hurricanes Go the Drua Go. And Chiefs streak continues, says Mr. Lerm. And while that's a bit of a strange one that the Canes are behind, yeah, that's the thing. They might be behind now, but I don't see them being behind at the end of this half. Or at least at the end of about 20 minutes in. 60 minutes into this contest, I think the Hurricanes will be back in the lead, which is why I am saying, if I had to make a prediction, third try scorer of this matchup, I'm saying it will be Duplessis Karefi. We'll go with that. See if we're anywhere near correct. The prediction, we've been sucking at the predictions lately, though. I think I've gotten about the last 20 wrong. But then I have one that I got absolutely spot on. So I've got to kind of say that that was my moment of glory. Now we've got the ads. We will get the stats up for half time. Like this. We will go like this. And Like that. There we go. Hurricanes will come back for sure, says Mr. Lerm. Yeah, compared to the game that we saw yesterday, which was a total of 80 points scored between the two sides, this game, a lot more low scoring, probably more running meters made by the Fijian Drua than in that first half of the Chiefs Highlanders game. Though Ravatamanda already making 93 meters. 5 defenders beaten. Masi only gaining 20 meters, but beating 3 defenders from his 8 carries. Then for the Hurricanes, the most running meters they've had is actually Kini Naholo with 19. Proctor just behind with 18. Tackles made so far in the first half. Most tackles made, Kalaviti Ravovo, 3 for the Fijian Drua. They have not had to make a huge amount of tackles at all. Whereas you look at someone like a Justin Sangster for the Hurricanes, he has made 11. Second most, Artie Savia on 8. He has managed to get himself 3 turnovers, 1, and Devon Flanders also getting the 3, or sorry, not the 3 turnovers on, but also having the 8 tackles alongside Tyrell Lomax. So I'll be Roy Garden next try scorer for the sake of my rugby fantasy, says Joe Bow. What's he looking like at the moment? He is $15 to be able to score a try, Cam Roygaard. So perhaps hasn't got a bad option. The thing is, though, if the Fijian Drua start the way that they did in the first half and the second, it's going to be very hard for the Hurricanes to find that momentum. But yeah, Roygaard's been phenomenal so far. There's the amount of tries he's been able to get for the season as a halfback. Damien 1000 says Mr. Lerm, yep, certainly got himself plenty of points. Damien McKenzie way ahead of Stephen Donald in terms of those overall points for the Chiefs. Hopefully the Drua can play 80 minutes, play smarter in the second half. Can't keep running it, throwing the risky offloads, and no tactical kicking too. That's one thing, now off the top of my head, now that you've mentioned tactical kicking, have the Fijian Drua done a single kick that wasn't for touch in this game? Like in terms of wasn't for touch because it was a penalty. Maybe one Frank Lamani attempted was the grubber. Other than that, though, oh, here we go, kicking. Masi, apparently, we've actually seen 7 kicks. I can't remember more than about 2 of them. They were Frank Lamani's. And Roygaard's had 4 kicks so far throughout that first half. Penalties conceded. We've seen 2 against Xavier Numia, 2 against Zaya Wakaliwiri. He has actually gone to the bin due to the penalties that he has been given away. The match stats, though, they're very interesting. 402 meters made by the Fijian Drua compared to the 91 of the Hurricanes. 64 carries compared to 27. More defenders beaten and more clean breaks for the Fijian Drua. Tackles made 82 for the Hurricanes compared to the 30 of the Drua. And it doesn't matter how many wins the Chiefs have when it comes to the quarters. And they lost. It's bye-bye, says Spider-Mac. Exactly right. All of these sides, whoever's in the top 8, you have to make sure you're winning those games from the quarters onwards, or else then you are in big trouble. And sadly, like you mentioned, your rugby season comes to an end. No matter how good you were, you do need to make sure that you're getting those knockout games in your favour. Fijian Drua is playing this game like it's sevens. They're just running all the way, says Joe Bow. And that's the thing. It's working to a certain extent, but the other side of things is you cannot keep this intensity up for 80 minutes. There's a reason why sevens players play sevens in this way. And that is because they've only got 7 minutes to have to deal with it. Dealing with it for 80 minutes is massive. But that's going to be hard on the Hurricanes as well. They're feeling a little bit tired after this. Good to see the bus playing strongly, and Suva was strong. Well, still strong, but lacking some pace now, says DK. Yeah, his second try of the season, which is surprising because he actually scored in the first week that he did play. Penalties conceded. We've seen 8 against the Hurricanes compared to the 4 against the Fijian Drua. And yeah, the bus emoji there from Octo Dad. I'm excited for the rest of today. Even though some of the Super Rugby games, like some people may consider Crusaders versus Force and Blues versus the bottom of the table Moana Pacifica as it's like maybe not such hyped up games, but we're going to have a lot of fun on those streams. We're going to have George joining us. And as you guys know, anything can happen on a George live stream. We're going to have the couch all set up nicely for that stream as well. Should be a lot of fun on those matchups. For some of those games, Crusaders Force, nothing's really happening in the game. We might just end up doing almost what is the equivalent of a rugby podcast. We'll just end up talking to each other throughout it, talking to you guys as well. Second half, very important for the Fijian Drua. If they can get it right, they could walk away with a big victory here. But if they don't get it right, it's going to be tricky. I believe we've still got another 5 minutes or so left of the halftime break. This game will be finishing at about maybe 3:50, 3:55, somewhere around there. And then we've got another 40 minutes until the next game does take place. That will be the game taking place between Chiefs and the Western Force. Paul Landers and Moana Pacific are struggling this season. Time for coaching changes. Time will tell what happens. There's DK. And anyway, where's George Hammy? He is currently at his house. I believe he's playing Farming Simulator currently. But yeah, for that next game, he is going to be joining us. The reason he wasn't with us for the first game is because for the first 30 minutes or so, he was actually about 30 minutes up the road getting a new mouse for his laptop. Maybe to play Farming Simulator, but also for editing. And could Will Jordan start with 3 tries a game? I mean, if he got a hat trick, it would be absolutely massive for Will Jordan. I hope that he is 100% fit. Come back. I mentioned it earlier on in the stream. The last thing I want is for him to have a good game, and then people go, right, he's our All Black starting 15, and then he feels pressured into playing even if he's not match fit. So I hope he has a good game, but I hope that if he has a great game, he is actually ready to come back. Also, we have got, it kind of does matter because home ground will play a big part, especially for the Chiefs. There's Jobo there. Well, I think what he's saying is once you get to those quarterfinals, you still have to win them. Dane Cole's playing. I don't believe he's off the bench. No, instead, Jacob Devery going to get the chance there. And it's great to have Will Jordan back. Good on him. Finally back after ages, says DK. Yeah, much anticipated return here for Will Jordan. Hopefully it works out for him. Like, he's a great player. And it's been such a long time since he's been in action. Apparently just waiting for the second half to get underway. It's 21 degrees here, apparently. It feels like it's about 5 inside. I feel like it's those double glazed windows since the sun hasn't really been out. Hasn't really warmed up too much. Yeah, it's going to be great fun. The live streams later on. We've got 3 URC games that we are covering. 1:20 a.m. when the first one will be starting. It's going to be the matchup taking place between, it will be the Blues, or sorry, not the Blues, the Bulls and the Stormers. The next game after that, it will be Leinster versus the Sharks. And then the game after that, we are doing Munster versus Glasgow. It's how many All Blacks injured out for the World Cup. So far on the All Black injured list, we've got, I'm always a little bit rough with the forwards, mainly because sometimes they do come back a bit earlier. I know that we've currently got a lot of forwards injured, though, including those props such as Angus Ta'aval, George Bauer. They're both out at the moment. I think there's a couple more as well in the front row who are currently not looking so flashed. In the backs, Sever Reese, currently out injured. Quinn Tupai is probably still a question mark, seeing as he isn't going to get any rugby in until the All Black season. Wow, you can get a 60-inch TV from Harvey Norman for about $2,000. That would be nice. Something I want to do, even though it's not going to happen, because I doubt I will have the funds to be able to do it. But what I'd love to do is get a massive TV, like we're talking 70-inch or something, to watch the Rugby World Cup on. I feel like that would be absolutely awesome. Like, it would be a big upgrade to the setup, of course. But yeah, having a massive TV to watch the rugby on rather than the little screen. Like, the little screen's great, but having a big screen would be absolutely insane for the Rugby World Cup. It'd just be like having it up there or something so that I can watch it here. Although me looking up like that's a little bit too high, I think. It'll probably hurt the eyes after a while. Hopefully we get to see Ronnie Sal. Okay, the sledgehammer in the second half, interesting. He takes on the bus or Naholo. It's a question of who do you want to get hit by least? Because like both of them are going to put in a big shot. I'd say you want to be on Julian Savia's wing, to be honest. I feel like he hasn't quite got that explosive acceleration that Kenny Naholo has. And we have the players to cover for the fallen. There's Spider Mech in there as well. I'm just planning my setup. I feel like there's not room on that wall for a TV though. I feel like I'll be watching it just on the monitor. I feel like the monitor's more than enough to be able to watch these games, but at the moment, Peter Umaga Jensen is on the drinks run and also the physio run for the boys. It's like he is in charge of using some of the spray or the gel to put on the players' hands to give them a little bit more grip, which they'll certainly need. The hot conditions in Suva play a factor in how many times we saw the ball dropped in the first 40 minutes. That man's got a big bottle of water. He's smart because it is certainly warm. Need every bit of hydration you can get while at the game, which is why we will have a drinks break about 60 minutes in for the players. That's a really good drawing of the Hurricanes logo. Julian Savia and All Black 2024 option, I doubt it, to be honest. I know it sounds harsh, and he's done it before the bus. He's been in the AB's jersey. But when you look at his stats this season, when you're out on the wing for a side that's in third, who have scored the most tries out of any team in the competition, I believe it is. I just quickly get their stats up. Well, they're at least right up there in terms of who's been able to score the most tries of the comp. Currently sitting in second on 45. When you consider that Julian Savia has only scored 2, one of which he scored today. He hadn't scored a try since the first round of the competition. We're at round 11. So I think he's struggling a little bit, unfortunately. But someone like a Salisi Rayasi, another Hurricanes winger, definitely an option for the All Blacks in the future. And Fiji's got the factory of fine wingers. And the next one to be recruited by New Zealand is Narua, number 14 spot. Replace another flying Fijian and Reese. Yeah, see, Amoni Narua is playing brilliantly at the moment. So they would be strategic, the All Blacks, to lock him in. I'd love to see him play for Fiji, though. I feel like there's a combination of some players who will play for Fiji, some that won't. Mark Talia was one that he said he doesn't want to play for anyone but the ABs. So he got one game, and that's about it. Peter Gustawakula, another one. The All Blacks gave him one game to lock him in, and then that was it. Didn't get any more. Or he might have got 2 if he was lucky. Peter Gustawakula, but Tete Tela going to kick us off for the second half. We are now underway. Nicely taken by Kini Naholo, but big shot coming in from Ravatamanda. A counter-up from the draw, but Roygaard does have it available now as the number 9. Across now, Artie Savi, a big shot being put in on him by the draw. Ball rolling back, Roygaard going to be playing this one. Oh, a little bit quick. The way he was walking forward there, it's kicked in behind. Nicely taken by the Fijian Drua player. He was in touch, though. So it is now going to be a line out for the Fijian Drua. 45 metres out from the line. 2 minutes remaining of the Hurricanes yellow card. They need to make sure they are quick in how they start this second half. It took 15 or so minutes before anyone had points in the first half. They take 3. Would be hugely successful for the draw. Good short ball to Ikanaveri. Look for the offload. It's going to be a knock on, though, and Devon Flanders is the player to put the boot to ball, looking for the 50-22, and he gets it, Devon Flanders. Brilliant kick. Commentators, they were not excited about that at all. I was listening to them chat about it, like, that's a number 6 who's just got himself the 50-22. There should be some excitement coming from the commentary booth. Brad Weber in the Black Rugby World Cup. Yeah, I think Brad Weber's definitely an option. Roygaard, if they want to go with a bit of a dark horse, is a young player to take. And FRU struggles to keep their talent young ruggers. Money is everything in today's sporting landscape, says DK. Yeah, it is very rare in our days, I'll be honest. Like, back in the day, players used to play for a country, or they used to play rugby for their country because they absolutely loved it and they wanted to represent their team. Now it's a lot more of who's going to give me more opportunities, who's going to give me more money, which is fair enough to an extent, because at the end of the day, as a rugby player, you've only got a career span that's a lot shorter than someone who's doing like accounting or something like that. So you got to try and make your money in a shorter period of time. The bus, he's got himself 2 in this game. No one would have predicted it. Julian Savia now gives the lead to the Hurricanes at the start of the second half. That is the last thing the draw wanted. Julian Savia, the bus has struck, and now he's tying all-time tries for Israel Folau. One more would get him in the lead. Did Moana beat the Hurricanes last year? They certainly did. It was a great performance from Moana Pacific in that contest. They can channel some of that in their game up against the Blues they are on today. Who knows what does happen. But the Hurricanes with Julian Savia, we jinxed it, didn't we, Mr. Loom? Maybe you are onto something in the All Blacks jersey 2014, or sorry, 2024 on the bus. There's DK there. Well, that looks like a van, doesn't it? Although 3 vans, I guess, does equal a bus, roughly. How many wheels does a bus have? It only got 4, or has it got another set near the middle? I'm going to Google a picture of a bus. Bus. I've never just Googled bus before. Yeah, it's just got, oh, some of them have 3. Some of them have the set of 2 at the back. But a majority of buses only have 4 wheels. I feel like that's something that people are like, wow, this man had no idea about buses. He must be an idiot. Yeah, double-decker buses seem to have 2 sets of wheels at the back, so 6 in total, whereas single-deck buses seem to have, oh, no, that single deck has 6. I think it depends on how long the bus is. Could Geordie please stop kicking like this, like his brother? My fantasy is struggling enough. Yeah, he did miss another kick there, Geordie Barrett, unfortunately, keeping the score at 7 points to 10. But now the Fijian Drua back up to the 22. Nice run here from Wharakaiwata. Stolen almost in the breakdown, though, by, I believe it would have been before. There's a big yawn. Try to unleash the sledgehammer and stop the bus before it's too late. Ronnie Sal, he'll be waiting patiently for his chance. A little work on the breakdown there from Isaiah Wakaliwiri. Going back for the knock-on, though, in favour of the draw, and I hope, or let's hope second half picks up. And there is a try fest. Well, I feel like they might have heard you. They decided to start going. Looks like Tawaki is down at the moment with an injury. Hey, says Brandon, welcome in, mate. You are keeping well. 45 minutes through. That's another very quick 5 minutes. It seems like the first 5 minutes of a half is just absolutely flying by. I should mention that the Hurricanes, they've also got some skill to come off the bench. Alessi Ayasi, the replacement option. I believe he will come on the field for he might come on the field for Kini Naholo, I think, seeing as he has had a bit more of a rough game. And Bowden Barrett should be in the Hurricanes. They'd be mighty different, says Mr. Loom. Yeah, imagine Bowden makes his return back to the Canes one day. That would actually be, I feel like the season that he does that, though, Geordie Barrett will go somewhere else just to annoy people. So, like, they might get Bowden Barrett back, but then Geordie goes to France, or Geordie goes to, I don't know, the Crusaders to go join Scott. That's the thing, though. I don't see Geordie Barrett as a guy who would fit in any other side in New Zealand. In terms of with the way that he plays, if that makes sense, he's just been at the Hurricanes so long, that's his home. He's a Canes man through and through. But, yeah, I'm not sure who would. Maybe the Highlanders could use him, but I don't think he'd go down to Dunedin. It's very cold down there. Not on the best winning streak. The Blues, they might consider him, but I don't think they need him. Chiefs, maybe, I guess, is probably the only other side I could see Geordie Barrett maybe going into, but I don't know whether they would actually go for him. Now, Frank Lamani feeds the ball in nicely, goes off to the left-hand side here. It's a step from Ravoda, a player we've hardly seen throughout this fixture. They're asking for an offside penalty. Nice pass on the outside, and it's a try now, the second of the match for Akuro. The Fijians are back in it. And unfortunately, the Drua franchise don't have the same financial budget of sponsorship like the Oz and New Zealand franchises. Most of their funds come via World Rugby Fund, says DK. But that just makes it more impressive, I think. For the fact that the Fijian Drua have been able to improve so much in one season, like, it's hats off to the players. It's hats off to the way that they've been coached. Like, this is some brilliant work. They've actually taken the lead back in this game, but Akuro gets a yes, try time, says Mr. Billy. Brilliant pass on the outside. Slams down on the turf for Akuro. The Fijian Drua, they're back in the lead. We asked for a try fest, and it seems like just maybe we are going to get it for the second 40 minutes of this contest. It's only been 6 minutes, and we've had the same amount of tries scored as we saw in the first half. We've got Robert in the chat. Welcome in, mate. Hope you are doing well. What time is it for you at the moment? Trying to remember my time zones. Is it like 9 It's either 9 a.m. or 9 p.m., somewhere around there, I believe. Might be 9 p.m., maybe. Yeah, is it 9 p.m. for you, Robert? Somewhere around there. Kick is successful from the draw. That will now make the score up 14 points to 10. I'm only 11, oh, not quite, 11:15 p.m. Okay, I was a couple hours off, but I'm getting better with the time zone, I think, slowly. Yeah, it's about that 20-hour difference, isn't it? Now, nice run forward from the draw. That was Thanakai again. Marnie with the box kick. Nicely taken by Josh Morby. Counter ruck from the draw. Relatively successful so far from Langi, making his way onto the field. But Aidan Morgan now goes out to Duplessis. Karefi knock on there from Adi Savia. Just didn't quite get the pass that he wanted. He's got a big smile on his face at the moment, Adi Savia. He's happy enough. Now, it's going to be the scrum feed for the Drua. Both sides playing with 15 currently. Hurricanes, they were down to 14, but they actually scored a try during that time. Yeah, Duplessis Karefi, the offload was just a little bit too soft to go into the hands of Adi Savia. Fantastic throughout this first 48 minutes in their discipline. They've only given away about 4 penalties, which is a lot less than we have seen in some of the past games for the Fijian Drua. And bro, what's Holland's role at the ABs? I know McDonald is the attacking coach, but I don't know Holland's. What was he? Oh, it's a penalty to the Hurricanes. Great scrum. What else is up for grabs? There was forwards coach, which I think Jason Ryan's got. Assistant. Who's his assistant coach? Is that where Holland comes in? Or is he just in general, like, extra coach type thing? Corey Jane coaching, is he not? He is indeed. Corey Jane went from playing for the Hurricanes to coaching them. Good touch finder from the Hurricanes. 20 metres out now from the Fijian Drua line. Looks like a Safar Moore ready to possibly set up for a rolling maul here. I think would be a good idea for the Hurricanes, just to test out how it goes up against this Fijian Drua side. Having a big chat about it here. Trying to decide what the plan is. He had a very wonky one in the first half. A Safar Moore is thrown in nicely. This time they actually decide to recycle it quickly. Goes off to Julian Savia. Bumps off Thanakai. We're seeing a bit of a throwback bus here in this matchup from Savia. Already scoring himself 2 tries. More than double what he already had in the competition. Now Devon Flanders, 10 metres out from the line. Roygaard going across now to Savia. Back to Morgan. Beautiful play here from the Hurricanes, just linking up nicely. Josh Morby carves up the middle here. 5 metres out from the line. Just dragged down by the Drua. Desperation defence. Now Savia. This time Artie. Mind scoring a try just like his brother has throughout this contest already. We're 15 minutes through his own Frank's playing. He will be coming off the bench for the Hurricanes, but yet to make his way onto the field. I do see Tyrell Lomax wearing the number 24 jersey. That must have been due to a rippage in his original kit. Now Duplessis Karefi. Adi Savia wearing a shirt like a training top or a training bra at the moment. Is riding up. Hasn't pulled it back down yet. Nice spin, Xavier Numia over the try. And the Hurricanes score after 10 phases. Or do they? They want to check this? No, they are happy enough. And Linus DP says Samuela. And also we have got their line. Is that lineups? Maybe. And also we have their Tossa says Innes, is it? Is that how you'd say that? Sorry if I have mispronounced that. Nice work from the Hurricanes going off to the side. Xavier Numia had his Iwakaliawiri with him. Although, tell you what, you've got an argument there for the Fijian Drua. They've just seen that one. They've taken the kick, but the refereeing, they need to look at that one again because we've just seen there that Isaiah Wakaliawiri was in front. There's no separation and then it is pressed is what they do call. See, they're looking at the knock-on here, but I was actually looking at the fact that Isaiah Wakaliawiri was obstructing Frank Lamani from being able to make the tackle here. As we can see, he is in front of the ball carrier which then stops Frank Lamani from being able to have a chance of making the tackle. Everyone is just looking at that knock on. I'm looking at the penalty side of things rather than the knock on. But the crowd are booing. They are not happy with it whatsoever. Like I mentioned, there is no TMO. TMO's sad, really sad. Knock on clearly, says DK there. Oh, there might actually be TMO. Sorry, they have just decided not to use it. Come on, draw another try, please. There's Elenis there. And Linus, Bulla, also Drua. I wasn't sure if that was a little L or a capital I. From his picture, it looks like an I would assume. Hurricanes try, says Mr. Loom. Yeah, I was interested to see that Isaiah Walker-Lewitt in the rolling maul, they kind of brought him round and he was in front, and then Lamani wasn't able to make the tackle. I don't know whether that was completely legal, the way that they did that. It might have been. Maybe it was just classed as a normal rolling maul scenario. Jacob Devery makes the tackle there. In fact, no, sorry, it's Sangster still out there on the field. Stolen there on the breakdown from the Fijian Drua. Ball, is it available? No, the Hurricanes managed to jump back on that one. It was a counter ruck after another counter ruck. There's a bit of a shepherd there too, says Jobo. So yeah, I think that was the one that I was looking at for Isaiah Walker-Lewitt, wasn't it? And also no TMO facilities in Fiji, Suva, Latoka, and Nadi. It's unfortunate indeed, says DK. So maybe that is why they haven't got the 7 circuit there yet. I mentioned about it how I wanted to see the 7s go to Fiji at some stage, but maybe because they haven't got the TMO, they haven't been able to have a leg there. And I says, Jacob, welcome in, bring it home, Tosa Drua, Tosa, and to the country. Says, no worries at all. We have got plenty more games coming up tonight. Later on today, we have got the Fijian Drua versus Hurricanes now. We've got the Crusaders versus the Force taking place at 4:30 p.m. New Zealand time. And then also we have got Blues versus Moana Pacifica, followed by 3 URC games throughout the night. No, that was so dropped, says Tony. Yeah, there was a bit of separation by the looks of it. The referee said none at all. Frank Lamani looking like an absolute tank out there on the field at the moment. And also clear knock on. Third try, says AK there. And also a bit of, like we mentioned a bit earlier on, a little bit of shepherding. And also we have got there just dropped in. Not sure if you spoke about the first URC game, says Timmy. I have not, believe it or not, until now when I'm Googling it, I didn't know who won it. Connacht beating Ulster. That is a big win for them. Ulster will be disappointed with that. And 100% drop, says Tony. And then also Ines Bulatoso Drua. But yeah, I was looking more at the penalty side of things against the Hurricanes number 5. Because if that was awarded as a penalty, then rather than being like a 5-meter scrum, it would have been a kick downfield for the draw. But they didn't really check that part. They were more concentrated on whether or not that ball was knocked on. Now, going to be Roigard going off to Ardi Savia. The Hurricanes once again back on attack, sitting 17 points to 14 up currently. Xavier Numia. Nice run here, but driven back with a little bit by Sila Sila. World Rugby and Fiji Rugby Union needs to upgrade their facilities to accommodate TMO. The stadiums at Suvanadi and Latoka, I think they do. It's about time that they have the TMO available. She's going all the way. There's Tony there, and she's 10 from 10. I thought Ulster would have taken it. Stormers guy. So better for us, says Timmy. Yeah, true. So the winner of that game now faces the winner of the Bulls Stormers, don't they? And go the Twins, says Siren. Offside penalty now against the Fijian Drua. Go the North Island, says Linus Tube. All the Hurricanes taking on the corner here. They've decided that that is the better option than going for the 3 points. They want a much bigger lead. They might have a decent chance of being able to do so. Yeah, Roigard once again playing those tactics, passing it into an offside player. Now, Fijian Drua can't really be mad at that because Frank Lamani's done that twice throughout this game. I hope the Hurricanes get the bonus in this game. And Bulasaka, Tosa Drua. And I want Stormers to win the whole thing. They're the only team who have not lost, or they are the only team that haven't lost to Leinster. And Ozasavi as a machine, says to me, and who's the ref, by the way? It is Jordan Way in charge of this one. Now the rolling ball for the Hurricanes. Ball available at the back. And now going to be the advantage for Xavier Numia. And the penalty goes back for the Hurricanes. The draw is discipline. This is when it's really tested. And this is when we've seen it fall apart in past games. Jordan Way sucks, says Tony Dykes there. Although his TMO or his assistant referee should have also helped him with that knock-on call / obstruction. I think it was actually more obstruction that happened before the knock-on. And Bolivanaka, sir. And Tossa says Samuela, they will kick for the corner again. So the penalty count currently, Hurricanes 8, FIJIAN Drua 7. Rolling ball looking very strong. Bro, says Tony. Him and his DMO. And also, what's the weather like? It's very nice at the moment, about 30 degrees, I believe, over there in Fiji. And no rain yet, but it seems like it's getting closer. And Bolivanaka Samu, there's DK now, the rolling ball once again here for the Hurricanes. Only 2 meters out now. All they need to do is get this man over the line. Looks like they've offloaded it back. And now Sangster almost gets himself the try. Actually made the most tackles so far throughout this contest. Artie Savia considering going around the side. Here comes Duplessis Karefi. He's over the line. Scores the try, or does he? They might check this one for double movement. Damn it, Hurricanes scored again. No, it's awarded as a try. And Duplessis Karefi does get himself the try again. Pretty even on the penalties. It is very even. 7-8. Hurricanes are up in the tempo now, though, and it seems like the Fijians, maybe they had their big half in the first. Duplessis Karefi, though, scores his second try of the season. So another 24 minutes remaining. 29 Celsius, but cloudy, says Tony there. So, yeah, shouldn't be any rain throughout this contest with a bit of luck. To mention also the FIJIAN Drua women's side going to be playing in their final of Super Rugby W. That is up against the Reds. That's taking place in a short little moment. Do you know in league they still have to kick the conversion with a penalty try? I did not know that. Interesting. But it's straight out in front, though, isn't it? I think it's the one difference that it makes. So it's still like it's 10 meters out in front, but they do still have to take it, I assume. Who's playing 10 for the Canes? It is Aidan Morgan in this match to the Hurricanes do a haka. They certainly did. Answered back to the Fijians. An OTMO ref can't check anything, unfortunate indeed. Says DK there. Looks like Numia's day is done. So he will be replaced by Poririkiti Stones. No, he's going to be replaced by Tavita Mafaleo. And brother swinger from the Fijian Drua God. Be good for kicking catches. There's Tony there. So that would be, are we talking Ravatamunda? Because he's been sensational with the big hits that he's been putting in throughout this game. Or are you talking Rasuko? Oh, sorry, Rakuro. Right time for Fijian Drua, says Tony. And thanks, Tony, says Surin. Now, Jamie Booth. Puts the kick up high. Hasn't really gone that far, though. It's nicely taken. It's going to be actually the replacement, number 21 now. Ekana Veri driving forward, offload, and Meri Derialangi scores himself the try. They are back into the contest now, the Fijian Drua. Try time Fijian Drua, 19 points to 24 score. Now it is actually 19 to 24, so my scoreboard's a little bit behind. Hopefully it updates itself. It hasn't realized that the Hurricanes got that last try and drew her in. Is it about colour here? Says Manu. And Hurricanes' third try was a knock-on. I don't think so, because if you're going down that route, like the player who scored the try did have dark skin. So it's one of those ones that if you're going down that rate, then surely they wouldn't have awarded him that try for that sake. But I think it's more of just it was a bad decision. At the end of the day, Isaiah Wakaliawere could have been easily penalised for the obstruction of going around in front of him to stop Lamani from making the tackle. Everyone was looking at that knock-on, but I think there was actually something that could have been penalised rather than just the knock-on. And then, yeah, about 2 phases after, and Tossa Drua Tossa, was that straight from kickoff? Almost. Very close to it, but the kick is over from the Fijian Drua now 21 points to 24. And also that draw in. Yeah, DK. And still time to come back and come back like they do. Manu has now said 21 points to 24. It's a close game. It's a great game to start off a Saturday, that is for sure. Fijian Drua closing the gap, 3 points difference between them. I didn't think the Hurricanes would do a haka. I believe it was because this is their first game in Fiji, so they decided they wanted to make it special. Looks like, this is not good though. Ravatamunda is going to be taken off the field on a stretcher here. That's a big shame because he has had a sensational game. We just talked about how strong he had been. I'm not sure what's happened in terms of how he got injured. Yeah, it's a big shame to see that man injured at the moment. Crowd are absolutely loving it, having a right ball of a time here. And there's Samuela. That's why they did the haka, says Tony. And Isaac Mandroa play smarter, use the tactics, keep the ball, strong defense, tactical kicking to apply pressure, says DK there. But yeah, it's a great crowd in Fiji. It always is. How many games do the Fijian Drua have remaining? I know that they've got their games up against the Australian sides, but whether or not they're playing in Fiji, I do want to see. They have an away game up against the Force. They have a away game up against the Waratahs. They have a home game against Moana Pacifica, which I believe both of their games have been played in Fiji up against Moana Pacifica, maybe, or I might be wrong with that. Fiji and Drua up against the Reds, round 15. So they've still got plenty of games left. 2 games at home. I'll be looking forward to it. Exactly how it ends up going. But yeah, still 20 minutes left. So this is actually the perfect time for the players to take their drinks break. And there are too many referees, but the commentators are. Shame, says Manu. Too many referees? As in, like, you're saying that the commentators make decisions as well. Yeah, Ravatamanda looks really rough there, the way that he went down. Good game by the Drua and the Canes. Afternoon, the Kiwi lads. Got a busy day for you, boss? Yep, very busy day. Water break coming up. I believe they are taking it currently due to that injury of Ravatamanda. Hopefully he's going to be all right for the next few games. He's a sensational player, but he just took a really hard knock. Process. I should mention the next game that we are covering is going to be Crusaders versus the Western Force. That will be taking place at 4:35, and we will have George with us for that live stream. Be sure to keep an eye on that one. Big love, everyone, says Big Nate. Oh, sorry, Blues Nate, I should say. And good. You got like 8 people attending to him, says Tony there. Do you think the Crusaders going to do a haka versus the Force? I don't think so. It must be bad, says Tony. Yeah, they are rolling him over on his side. Just taking all of the precautions to make sure that he is going to be all right. Which is normally the case when you've got either head or neck injury. You're going to make sure that the players, you're not trying to move them or anything like that. You're going to make sure you're putting them down nicely on the stretcher. So he will be going off the field, getting medical attention. Hopefully, he is going to be all right. You Hurricanes supporters there in Fiji. Do love a Hurricanes kit, that is for sure. I want to get one. Even though I'm not from Wellington and Hurricanes. Oh, no, that man's pulled down his pants. They're going for Savi, and they got the budgie smugglers on with the rubber duckies on there. And yeah, they had pulled out the golf cart. There's Tony. The Drua supporters a little bit worried for Ravatamanda. Yeah, I believe the players would have taken the drinks break during that time that he was off the field. There's not a lot of Hurricane supporters in attendance. I'll be honest. I was looking through that group of about, maybe I could see 100 people and not one yellow kit. They are hard to come by the looks of it for the Hurricanes, but they certainly stand out with the yellow. Does anyone get these things on Instagram saying you were tagged in a photo? I do not know. So is anyone getting penalised? I don't believe so. So what happens to them? They're just showing the try again. Great pass off to Ekanaveri. And Sadas got the W on paper. Force need to play strongly, smarter, and full 80 to stand a chance and up the Hurricanes, says Levi. Yeah, David Ekanaveri. Brilliant run from the big man. I won a Sheen gift card. Okay, be careful with that, Tony, just in case it is a scam. Make sure that you don't give out any bank account details or anything like that. Just because if you do, then they will probably hack you, more than likely. But it is going to be now a Roni Sal out there on the field. Scrum Wars shirt that they have got printed there. I know I'm not, says Tony. 21 points to 24. Draw not bad, says Spider-Mick. They're doing very well in this contest so far, the Fijian Drua, being able to keep up with the momentum the Hurricanes are trying to create. At the moment, they are $5.25 underdogs, which seems quite high. 100% scam gift card, says Ruby. And Remy, yeah, you gotta be very careful with what you're winning online. I have like 5 or 6. 5 or 6 of them, right? Well, that's definitely a scam. If you're winning 6 of them, unless you've actually seen them physically, I don't think they are real. Sledgehammer is in. Watch out, bus. Question of whether or not a sledgehammer can take out the tyres of the running bus Julian Savia. These teams are my favourite. Says Brandon. Yeah, a lot of people feel the same way. These two sides always know how to put on a show when they do go head to head. Brandon a little bit. They're on, but yeah, the Fijian Drua, $5.25 underdogs. Position currently in favour of the Hurricanes on the halfway line. They will be kicking off to the Fijian Drua. At the moment, we are just eagerly awaiting this game to get back underway. Like I mentioned, they're just taking all precautions to make sure that Uravitamanda is going to be all right. He is now making his way off the field on the cart. Hopefully he's going to be all right. Also, hopefully the bus doesn't get busted. I got COVID one more. That's not good, Brandon. Hopefully you are resting up. Doing all right. Vanaka is Enos in there. Am I pronouncing that correctly, Enos, or am I saying that slightly wrong? Do let me know, because I want to make sure I'm getting your name right. Yeah, he will be making his way off the field now, and yeah, this is Nick and Vanaka. Earlier on and down the Hurricanes. Not the same gift cards, but I have got like 5 or 6 of them, says Tony. But yeah, just be very careful. Oh, Lanus. Okay. See, I got confused because it looks like a capital I in the profile picture, so it's Lanus. Okay. Hopefully I've said that correctly. Be sure to call you it from now on. You can do it, the drawer. Says Luke, it's going to be kicked off now by the Hurricanes deep inside of their own territory here. The Fijian Drua. They kick it for touch. It's not the greatest kick, but a little bit of clearing. And it's Linus or Lanus? Lanus. He said, yes, sir. It's my second time this year, says Brandon. So you've been quite unlucky by the sounds of it. We're only 5 months into the year. They just had National Star Wars Day. Now it's Safon Moore going to throw this ball in while the Hurricanes go into the back. It's a loose ball. Stolen. Ikanaveri puts boot to ball. That might have been a mistake, although they are actually going back for a little knock on. I've got 319 likes in 15 hours on my comment on Instagram, says Tony. You're absolutely popping off, mate. I don't think I've ever made a comment on an Instagram post other than maybe 3 way back in the day. I actually hardly even double click to like things on Instagram, mainly because I don't really go on Instagram. And Vanaka Samuwaka says DK. And if the Canes win with a bonus point and the Brumbies win without one, do they go second or stay in third? So due to points differential, I believe points differential wise, where's the standings? One moment, I got to scroll back a little bit. I believe they've got a better points differential than the Brumbies, though. Super Rugby table. So, yeah, they got 117. So, yep, they would be in second. Me too, says Tony. Xavier should take a risk and put $20 on the drawer. Never know. Or should take a risk on and I hope the drawer will win today, says Lanus. Nice pass on the outside from Kanina Holo. Now it goes just dead. They'll go back to where it was kicked from. What do you mean by, is it safe? Well, pretty much there's a lot of scams going around online where even if you give them your phone number or your credit card information, anything, even the smallest thing like an email, they will then send you a whole heap of spam, whole heap of viruses. So, yeah, you're going to be extremely careful with which ones you're trusting online. Oh, sure, says Samuela. It's never safe to have the Rugby World Cup in France. That's where those French people live, says Ovi. I'm looking forward to it, though. It's going to be a great World Cup. I feel like it's closer than most people think now with so many sides sitting there with a chance. Oh, I see a must-win. Exactly right. I mentioned it at the start of this game. It is a very important game to win. It's not the end of the world if they don't, because they've still got more games to be able to get into the top 8, but this game would drastically help their chances of going through to the quarterfinals. And this guy said, is it safe to have the Rugby World Cup in France? Says, don't it, Mr. Loom. And then also we have got there, come on, Drua, says DK. I mean, it should be relatively safe. There's going to be a lot of support for the local side. I remember the Rainbow Warrior, says Obi. Also some frogs from Obi. And Kenny Holo is committed to New Zealand Rugby already, says DK. I think so. Not too sure, though, because if he hasn't, I mean, he's going to be a big signing for another international side. 3 minutes gone at the moment, 17 to go. Big push from the Hurricanes, but the ball comes out the back for the Fijian Drua. Falling over there, Rivovo. No one touched him, but the advantage is in favour of the Drua now. Big run. Obo for Wonga. In this game, going to be kicked up high. Fijian Drua got the penalty, says Tony. Fell for New Zealand. Oh, sorry, Fiji Rugby Union. Oh, yep, they are going to be going right back for that original penalty in favour of the Fijian Drua. Do you think DMAC will start for the ABs based on a Super Rugby form, or do you think Foster will stay with Richie? It's a tricky one because if they have Weber as the starting 9, I would definitely have Damien McKenzie. If they have Smith, I think they're more than likely going to go with Moonga, just for that little bit more, I guess, chemistry between the two since they've played a bit more together. But yeah, if it's Weber starting 9, I would definitely have Damien McKenzie starting 10, but I'm not sure whether or not they will go Weber starting. Sure, French will be stocking up on KFC, land of the Roosters. Get in touch for the Drua, just outside of the 10 for the Hurricanes. There's Tony there. Ball has gone into touch. Line out throw for the Fijian Drua. They are about 43 metres out. A try now would not win this game, but it would help them a little bit more towards, are you doing sevens next weekend? We certainly are. Get into touch for the Drua just outside of the 10 of the Hurricanes. Here's Tony there. Looks like Braden Ayusi. Is he making his way back off the field? I think he only just made his way on there. Yep. He has to go off the field now. He's going to be killing a holo going off for Salisi Arayasi. Oh, let's go, says Tony. Right, nicely swatted back by the Fijian Drua. They do manage to claim it. A ball available again here for the Fijian Drua. Please feel free to spam the likes button, everyone. Subscribe to the Kiwi Lads. Welcome in, says Blues Nate. I kind of read that, but kind of didn't I? I messed up the sentences a bit. Another penalty goes the way of the Fijian Drua. They decide to take it quickly with Matawalu. It is a knock on, though, from the big man. And now Hurricanes got a chance. Aidan Morgan kicks it down the middle of the field. Nicely done again by Drua Sisi. Another knock on. 2 in a row. And the Hurricanes now in the perfect position to be able to go on and get themselves just that little bit more of a lead. All good, boss, says Nate. There's also Lisi Arasi. First carry of the match for him. Jamie Booth off to the left-hand side to Isaiah Wakaliwere. In fact, that might have actually been TK Howden. Yes, it was. Now Josh Morby. Another step from Billy Proctor, dragged down. This is where it's going to be so important that the Drua make all of their tackles. Now Jamie Booth across to Asafa Moore. The shoulder into Nasila knock on. What a waste. There's Spider Meek there. Yeah, it's a big shame when you take that quick chance and it doesn't quite pay off. Now Jamie Booth off to the left-hand side again. Billy Proctor, big fin there. Push backwards, neck minute draw in this loom. It's on the cards at the moment. They're not too far off it, although I don't know if the Drua would take on the 3. I think they would actually try and win rather than taking the... Oh, no, they might consider the 3. They might get told to. Now Josh Morby, good run there. Finds the offload up to Aidan Morgan. Geordie Barrett, it's a knock-on from Rayasi. Counter-attacking chance now for the Fijian Drua. They kick it in behind, and it slowly curves towards the touchline. Oh, Geordie Barrett's been pushed onto the ball. And it is now... No, that's not a Hurricanes line-out. That's come off Geordie Barrett, but he's been pushed onto the ball. They need to look at that again. It should be a Fijian Drua line-out, but it is not. It touched Geordie Barrett, but then they might also argue that he was pushed onto the ball. So I don't know if that's why they haven't given the penalty. Another shameful decision. There's Manu there. Yeah, big mistake from the referees. That ball was out by Geordie. It certainly was, but the Hurricanes, they will take that because that could have been a massive chance for the Drua. Now 13 minutes remaining. Seems like for the Drua, the only way they're going to win this game is if they just have no chance of a referee getting involved, making it as clear-cut as it can be. Well, looks like the Canes says Sam Henry, Georgia Drua. Yeah, that is 3. The ref is stuffed up. Now the rolling for the Fijian Drua. Hurricanes will be looking to get themselves the penalty advantage here, and they do so. And all against the Drua. Something wrong here, says Tony. Rugby It's a white men's game. There's Manu. I don't know about that. I mean, you look at South Africans who won the last World Cup, the man who lifted the trophy, Captain Sia Khaleesi, he is not white. So I feel like it's one of those ones that certain teams, maybe they do not get the rub of the green, but I don't think you can say that overall the whole game of rugby is for one race. Like the literal thing that they say in England and throughout the Six Nations is rugby is for everyone. And I feel like a majority of the time they do keep to that. And ref seriously needs a TMO. See, I feel like that is probably where the biggest problem has come here, not from who's getting penalised or what the penalties are for. It's because they haven't got the backup referee to be able to tell them what has and hasn't. And calling rugby races, what a flog. There's Ruby and Remy. Do I have to throw this one now, Jacob Devery? And referees' decisions show that. I don't think you can bring race into it, though. A referee having a bad game does not mean that he's racist. I feel like it's an easy way to try and, I guess, make it feel better that there were bad decisions being made, but it's not really a justified way of doing so, if that makes sense. Because if you look at the first half, Hurricanes gave away 8 penalties against the 4 of the Fijian Drua. So would you say he's an anti-racist because he was giving the penalties against the Hurricanes? Like, you've got to think of it both ways. You've got to look at the stats of what happened earlier on in the contest as well. And can you gift me Rugby League Live 4 as a gift, please? Says Sam Henry. I unfortunately do not have the budget to be able to give away games, sadly. I probably couldn't even afford to buy Rugby League Live 4 for myself at this stage. And crowd not happy. Ref needs security soon. Unfortunate indeed, says DK. Yeah, if this isn't a wake-up call for World Rugby to have TMO available in Fijian Drua games, in Fiji, like, it's not that hard, surely. Stick him in front of a monitor and just have it played delayed where he can fast forward. That's another knock on. Like, that's all you need for your TMO. A screen that he needs Sky Sport now. Put him on Sky Sport now. He can go back and forth, watch the angles that they've got available, and go from there. You know, it's one of those ones that it's not hard to find a way of doing so. If that makes sense. Real draw, tackle bloody hard, and no draw. You win, says Mr. Lerm. Let's go knock on by the number 14. And also, I think that the draw in Moana are keeping the Super Rugby alive after Argentina and South Africa pulled out. Says Manu in there. I mean, the Fijian Drua, they've certainly brought a new intensity, a new flair to the Super Rugby competition, which I feel like people didn't realize that they were missing till they pretty much got it, I guess you could say. You are sounding funny too, mate. Says Manu there. Cheers. I don't know if that's a compliment or not. Langi. Nice run. Oh, he's dropped the ball and it's gone forward as well. Everyone's dropping the ball. It's only $85.45. That is a lot of money, Henry. I guess if you say it's only, why do you not buy it for yourself? It's 2023. TMO should be compulsory in every game, says DK. Exactly right. Do you hear what you are saying? Says Money. Yeah, I am the voice of reason in this scenario. Like, I come at this game from a neutral perspective. I'm not a supporter of the Fijian Drua. I'm not a supporter of the Hurricanes. I don't actually have a Super Rugby team, so that makes it very easy to be impartial. So I'm looking at it from where passion isn't in my perspective. Whereas, of course, if you're looking at it from a Fijian Drua point and you feel your team's being penalised, like, that's fair enough. But to say that it's race that's the reason they're being penalised is a bit far-fetched. Even with the fact that you are passionate for your side, like, you can be passionate, but you don't need to make everything a race argument, you know? Too many mistakes by the referee. Exactly right. Doesn't make him a racist, though. And I feel like a lot of people understand that, don't they? In the scenario, it's just the case of, like, they need a TMO to be able to help make those decisions. The assistant referees, I feel, have been pretty poor in this game as well. They haven't really had a voice, which makes it hard. And also, we have got there, you are opinionizing things. Where is your impartiality? Well, I mean, isn't your opinion that the referee is racist? And you literally said earlier on, I mean, if this isn't an opinion, I don't know what is. The fact that you've got rugby, it is a white man's game. That sounds a little bit opinionated. Just a tad, Manu, just a little bit of an opinion there. Nice work from the Hurricanes. Another knock on forced by the draw, but the ball's gone into touch, so I believe it is going to be a line out. Or they might actually take the scrum here for the Hurricanes. Indeed, they do. No races at all, says Linus. And then you see I got the Xbox Series S on a rugby game for it. Also, I don't have my own credit card. Says Sam. Oh, so you might have to do some chores. You might have to suck up to your parents a little bit for that one. And we need AI to be the referee. That's the thing. I mentioned this on a earlier live stream, like a couple months ago, and I was like, even if we had robots as a referee, the thing is, people would say that the robots have been like hacked or like they've been told to let one team get more penalties. Like even with a completely impartial referee, people will still say, "Oh, it's been programmed to be a little bit more one-sided." And there's a racist, as white man goes, so racist, says Tony, in there as well. Yeah. So it's one of those ones that Manu's throwing stones, but all that's happening is he's hitting a trampoline and they're coming straight back at him. Anything he's trying to accuse us of, he's literally done something worse. And then once you take of the AB's coaching personnel, do they have the right people? I think that having people that Scott Robinson feels are the right people is very important, rather than having a team put together that he feels he can't work with or can't get the best out of. So the fact that he's been able to pick his side, I'm trusting that that's the right decision. Can't find the Hurricanes haka from today, says Levi. They did do one just before the game. It was actually quite a long one. Might be up on the Super Rugby YouTube channel after the game is finished. But now it's going to be a scrum feed for the Hurricanes. This game getting close to the end. Only 8 minutes remaining now in the contest. Braden Aosi out there on the field now, fired up. He is going to be playing at number. Oh, we actually got him at number 8 with Artie Savi at 7 now. The last little while of this contest. Big scrum needed though. There's a bit too much movement. And go the Blues. Commentating on the game. The Manu of the world always crying. All the Manus always cries, says Ruby. Go on, Drua. Only a few minutes left. Go the Blues. Come on, the Drua, says DK. So looking at the stats now, FIJIAN Drua, $9 underdogs. And also referee make a mistake against the Drua, nothing more than that. Exactly right. Like, it's one of those ones that referees make mistakes. Some make more than others. Jordan Way in this game has made a lot of them, but yeah, that's as far as it goes. You know? And next try wins either team. Oh, big scrum. No, it's moved around too much. They're going to have another reset. I can tell you right now, when the highlights come out, there are going to be so many comments via the ref. Exactly right. The social media is going to be packed with this referee ruined the game. Even if the Fijian Drua win, the referee will still get probably heavily ridiculed, but a lot more if the Fijian Drua lose. You can win the game by 1 second left, says Buttermilk. Exactly right. You can win the game 5 minutes after full time, as long as you keep that momentum alive. Fijian Drua currently sitting $12 underdogs in this contest. It'll be a tough one to get back into, but they certainly still have the potential. 6 minutes left. Come on, the Drua, says Tony. The people bring race into everything, and narrow-minded, says Junior Ryder. To be honest, it's a easy excuse out for people. You know, like it seems to be that's where they go to make them, I guess, feel better, if that makes sense. It's like in a game, if there was completely neutral refereeing and nothing went wrong, first of all, not this game. A lot has gone wrong in the refereeing department. But if there was a game that there was one penalty that went against the side and they lost by, let's say, 15 points, people straight away go, the referee screwed us out of this game. And that's kind of how they go, well, we could have won, but the ref stopped us from winning, if that makes sense. Like, that's the easy way of saying, like, we shouldn't have lost, but we lost because of this thing out of control. This game, the Fijian, if they win it, it would be absolutely incredible for them because they have had to fight hard. They've had decisions that haven't quite gone their way. They're actually taking on the 3 points here. And it's actually Valentini who's going to take it. The man who's only recently started finding his feet. 24-24 seems risky, but I can understand why they've done it here, the Fijian Drua. But the problem is, it's going to give the ball back to the Hurricanes, which is going to make it even more tricky. The kick now being taken, and it's good. Valentini's got it over. There you go. That's going to be exciting. It's a draw now, says AK. It certainly is. 24-24, says Manu. And let's go. 24-24. Come on. Drua needs this one to progress up the Super Rugby Pacific ladder. They certainly do. If they win this game, they move into the top 8, which would be absolutely massive for them. If anyone expects the ref to be perfect, bro, they shouldn't be watching sport. Yeah, there's always going to be errors. Manu's still not happy. What is wrong with you? Says Manu. I think you should be asking that question to yourself, Manu. Not everything's about race, mate. There are other factors that contribute to games. I believe I should use a woman to be ref, says Bodamik. As over 24 all. It's gone high. Nicely taken by the Drua now. Big run. Salisi Reasi, that was a risky offload that they didn't need to do, but they decided to do it anyway. The Fijian Drua. This is their chance. This is their moment to get themselves the victory. They're only $2.50 underdogs now. Nice wide pass out of the hands of Sefu Masi. If anyone knows how to score tries, it's this man. Just charges at the line. Aidan Morgan tries to get on the breakdown. Ikanaveri, he's knocked the ball on, but it's an advantage to the Fijian Drua. That came first, game on. This is going to be a yellow card as well against the Hurricanes. The Drua are feeling the momentum building. Right. Well, this might be your bias. You are so biased in your earlier comment, says Manu. I'm trying to work out what one that is, Manu. Because, I mean, you've said some... Oh, it's a rare card for Isaiah Wakaliwiri. His second yellow of the day. Kicked that penalty, says the Flying Pan man. And if they do manage to get this one over, the Hurricanes then become $13 underdogs. That can't be right with the draw being $1.80 favourites. Oh, no, it's because the draw is paying so much. And Dosso says Samuela, rare card, no way, says Tony. Unfortunately, just ended up getting penalised back-to-back. Run down the time. And it's a red, not orange. That's what I said. I said it's a red card because he got a yellow card earlier. There you go. And I was like, come on, Drua, finish them off. And watch Artie Savia steal the ball and stop the Drua from taking the W, says Jobo there. Who's racist said in the Hurricanes, says Ruby. Looks like a lot of players doing their stretches at the moment. Tossa Drua, says Samuele. Right, the draw is now $7 as confirmed 24-24. 24-24 currently. Yeah, the scoreboard's a little bit behind. But now it could become 27-24 in favour of the Fijian Drua, which would be absolutely massive for them. You can see the celebrations taking place. Let's go, the Drua. This is going to be an interesting finish, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just working out the odds in my head of the chance of this going over. It's pretty high. And boy, the game is in Suva. Nadia's on fire. Noises like whole of Nadia's cheering. Says AK there. And last minute water break again. Deep breath needed for Kemu Valentini. He's only recently made his way onto the field, and now he has to try and nail the kick. And what is the why? Says Samuela. What is the why? Apparently, Valentini seems to be one of the most consistent kickers for the Fijian Drua that they have got. 5 points today. Now lining up this kick. Kemu Valentini. From about maybe 30 meters out on the angle, kicking from left to right. Here he goes. Kemu Valentini. 2 minutes remaining. And he brings it round. It's over for the Fijian Drua. 2 minutes remaining. And the Hurricanes are down by 3. The Drua are ecstatic in the stands. They are going absolutely wild for this contest. And it is fair enough. Sorry, time. It is currently 1 minute 30 remaining in this contest. It's over, says DK. Not quite. Still a little bit of time, and the Hurricanes are in possession now. Big shot coming in. Now Billy Proctor with the ball in his hands, driven backwards nicely. Now the Fijian Drua, all they need to do is get this ball back and close out the game. It's a knock-on from the Hurricanes. This will use up more time, ladies and gentlemen. The scrum is awarded to the Fijian Drua, and the crowd. Oh, that man just threw a child. He didn't mean to. I think he dropped him on accident. But he picked him up, and the child just went absolutely flying. Get that man in the shot put competition. Jamie Booth, 40 seconds remaining. That crowd says, no, mum, it is certainly a feeling and a half. Keep it up, Drua. You got this. Not over yet, though. The Hurricanes still have half a chance. Are you kidding me? Yeah, nah. Yeah, Drua in front. They certainly are. There's 20 seconds, or in fact, 40 seconds remaining now. for the Fijian Drua. It is over, says Manu. Not quite. Still more time. 30 seconds remaining now on me clock. And the chat is so crazy, says a Tenny in there as well. Now only 20 seconds remaining. And did Drua qualify for the quarterfinals if they win? Or will they? They will have a much better chance, I believe, with this win. If they do end up winning it, we've still got a little bit of time left on the clock. They will actually move up into 8th place. They will go ahead of the Highlanders, ladies and gentlemen, if they do end up winning, which they should be able to. Now they'll put the ball in, out the back. Fijian Drua just waiting for the final siren. There it is. They've still got time. The Hurricanes trying to get the turnover, waiting for the siren. They're still going. What's happening here? They're waiting. Oh, they've got the advantage again, but they'll kick it into touch. And the Drua, they are victorious. Do they want the penalty? That's a penalty for offside. They still have to take this one. They have to quick tap and kick it out. And there. You feel better now, says Manu. I think the question is, Manu, do you feel better now? I feel like you got pretty intense in that middle section. You're feeling a bit happier now that the Drua have walked away with the victory. Right, it's offside. They need to take the quick tap and put the ball into touch, and then the Drua will be victorious. They've done brilliantly, though, to be able to fire back in the way that they have. Like this and like that as well. Kicked into touch. Valentini, he was brilliant in this one to be able to get the points that the Drua needed. Had to update the score. What awesome result for the comp. It certainly is. So this year, the Fijian Drua have defeated the Hurricanes and the Crusaders. Talk about a pretty good comeback season for the Drua. Stuff the ref. I wanted to spite him, says DK. So that is good for the social media side of things, or else this referee would have been absolutely destroyed. I bet you we're going to do something here. We're going to check Instagram. We're going to go on Jordan Way's Instagram and see if he's already getting stick for this match. Jordan Way. And from my 9-year-old son, the Drua just rode through the 15-plus men Hurricane. Says Manu. And that Jordan Way, it's a private account. That's probably a good thing. Both teams under 19 and under 15 league. Says Linus, and a good game. Thank you, says Robert. I do thank you all very much for being here. We've got our next game taking place just around the corner. That will be the matchup between the Crusaders and the Western Force. It will be kicking off at 4:35 p.m. New Zealand time. We'll have George joining us for that live stream as well. MVP, certainly not the ref, says DK. But the thing that mattered was that Fiji Drua were able to get the result, and they did just that. Fiji, says Mo, on number 3. And disappointed Canes fan, but congrats to the Drua. At least we got the bonus point out of it. That is true. They will still get themselves just that little bit higher up the table. I believe they are now ahead of the Brumbies as we currently sit. So they will have to wait to see how the Rebels-Brumbies game goes for knowing exactly where they will be sitting. But I do thank you all, like I mentioned, very much for tuning in. If you didn't enjoy this live stream, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. 27 points to 24. The Fijian Drua. Victorious game of the weekend. I'm calling it now. Good stream, Putty Money was here, says Ruby in there. Yeah, do appreciate you for being here throughout it, Ruby, and look forward to maybe seeing you for the next stream. And also, Drua versus Pumas would be a good watch. And thanks, man, says the Flying Pan Man, and Drua all the way Vanaka Hurricanes, says it's there, and great Savia. Yes, Julian Savia, fantastic game, getting himself 2 tries throughout this fixture. You can see that the sun is coming out here in New Zealand. I got half my face is a lot brighter than the other. Yeah, at least thank you all very much for tuning in. We'll be back very soon for the next live stream. We'll see you all for the next one.